I grew up in the hills of Tennessee, some of you may know that, and I borrowed the title of my story from my best friend's grandmother, who was very fond of summing up her sort of general mistrust of modern medicine with the blanket catchphrase, "You ain't sick till you go to the doctor." The year is 1995. I'm a senior in college at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Kurt Cobain is dead, and the grunge movement is nearing an end, but I'm still a big fan. I love Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, all of it. The angst and anger of the grunge movement appealed to me. But I was a little too fat to wear very much flannel. Now, obviously I'm still not slim good body, but my last 2 years of college I got really, really fat. And I don't know if I got fat because I got so depressed or if I got so depressed because I got so fat, but by senior year I had both conditions firmly in hand, I can assure you. Now, I remember feeding all this insecurity and fear and anxiety I had with just a steady diet of cold beer and hot starch. I used to like to binge on my two favorite things, Busch Light beer and the No. 7 turkey dinner special combo at IHOP. Always requested with a double starch side order of mashed potatoes and French fries. Would you like gravy on those mashed potatoes, honey? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I would. Thank you very much. I realized that I was even fatter than I realized when I tried to dress up as my grunge idol hero, Eddie Vedder, for Halloween, only to spend the entire evening constantly being referred to as Meatloaf. It was probably the longest Halloween night of my entire life. Yeah. But anyway, due to this increased girth and my natural aversion to doing laundry, I made the bold decision to freeball it for 2 solid years. I figured, why get embarrassed about not having any clean underwear? Just don't wear underwear. That's a very simple solution. But near the end of my senior year, I began experiencing this dull, thudding pain in my lower abdomen genital region that I later described more clinically on a form as testicular discomfort. 2 words that it still pains me to say or read in print. It was not excruciating or agonizing, it was just this dull, throbbing, thudding, constant pain. Exactly. Saying the words, it still just makes them hurt. And of course, I don't want to go to the doctor, but the brave soul that I am, not at all a hypochondriacal alarmist, I immediately concluded that I did have testicular cancer. I planned to lose one, if not both of my balls, and die painfully within the year. So I hid all this from my parents as long as I could, and I got home from graduation, spent the summer, and I'm putting it off because, hey, like Nanny Edmiston said, you ain't sick till you go to the doctor. So better to wallow in my depression, convinced that I had cancer, than actually go take the simple test to have it proved untrue. So I, finally before I had to go to London for grad school, my parents forced me to go get a physical. And I went to Dr. Hachimama, the family practitioner, and I know the name sounds very exciting, and I never could pronounce it or spell it correctly, but was just a nondescript white guy, very plain spoken, and I enjoyed him, and I trusted him, and I thought everything would be great. And I go in, get all the blood work, all the regular tests, and he's down there doing his thing and checking me out, and he says, "Now, Brian, I feel something down here. It could just be epididymitis, which is just generally a very benign condition in non-sexually active males in their early 20s. Remember, fat and depressed and extremely non-sexually active in college, unfortunately. So this condition can probably just be remedied by simply wearing some briefs instead of boxers, or in your case, nothing at all. But I don't want to play around with this. I can't take any chances. I want you to go see a specialist. And I want you to start wearing briefs. I did both. The urologist he sent me to happened to be a close personal family friend who also happened to have 2 super cute, super popular, and super gossipy daughters that I've known since kindergarten. So after about a week of nervous anticipation, I'm in this man's office, convinced that, the entire town and all my friends will soon know of my genital dilemma. And he's checking me out, making me cough, doing his things, and he sort of looks up at me mournfully after a few minutes and says, "Now, Brian, I'm gonna have to get a little bit aggressive. This was not a phrase that I ever wanted to hear anyone who was holding my testicles say. I mean, some of you may be into that sort of thing, but I would venture to say that in a clinical situation, these are not words you want directed at you. What he proceeded to do to me next. You ever play with water balloons when you're a little kid and try to touch your fingers together through the balloon without breaking the balloon? This man did that to both of my testicles individually. It hurt so bad that I broke into this like bald eagle banshee terror shriek laugh just so that I wouldn't cry in front of my friend's father in his office.
That's aggressive! That's very aggressive!
And yeah, he finishes up and looks up, he's stunned, seems very concerned, and says, "Well, Brian, I really can't find anything, and that was a very thorough exam I just gave you." You think, Doc? Jesus Christ, it felt like you had my soul between your thumb and forefinger. I'm dying. I'm like, you don't know anything? We still don't know anything? No, we don't know anything, and we don't want to play around with this, because your symptoms could be nothing. Could be very serious. I'm going to need you to go to the medical center and get yourself a scrotal ultrasound.